seconds for the first of the wingless sprint races. Dracula's got the key to the blood bank, and that's a 51 of Andrew Marker, starting from grid number 1. From grid 2, Simon Moore in the 21C. Row 2 on grid 3, Matthew Phillips in the 5C, Riley Letton, car 4 from grid 4. 77, Aaron Hutton from 5, Kane Jemmett in the 71 from 6. From grid 7, Andrew Gregg in the 75, and Adam Farrer in the 7C from 8. Charlene Jemmetts in the 57 from 9, Jeremy Scarlett, car 37 from 10. Big welcome back to Shooter Hawkins. Kirk Hawkins will start from grid 11 in the 11 car. From grid 12, the 8 of Chris Gray, and Mark Morris will start from grid 13 in car 78.
And of course the V6 wingless sprints are racing for the Letton Curve and Channel Tri-Series. This is the first night of their Tri-Series series, and they'll all be racing for that trophy, which is up for grabs. About to go racing here, AJ.
Here we go, wingless sprints. Maybe they're not going to go green this time. You say, by golly, they just about caught me. So from the outside of the front row, it's Simon Moore. We didn't say which of the Draculas on the front row had got the keys to the blood bank, because these two are probably the two form horses in the wingless sprint racing. Andrew Marker in the Jemmetts 51 car sitting there in second spot. Then we go back to Matthew Phillips car 5. Oh, Ducks and Drakes stuff going on further back. Here comes Shooter Hawkins in the 11 machine. Started from grid 11, up there into 5th spot. Went up to the North Island, and he's had the batteries recharged in the Hayden number 11, sitting there in 5th. That won't be good enough for Shooter. Not afraid to use the old front bumper either, so the 71 car being driven by Kane Jemmett might just want to give old Shooter a little bit of leeway there. It's Kane Jemmett on the outside, one of the young boys, and Shooter certainly one of the veterans. Certainly mixing it up, those two. But Simon Moore maintaining control of this, the first of the wingless sprint races in the Moore Plumbing 21. Here comes Marker, that red Makita car. They're going at it, hammer and tongs, down past the Value Cars Warehouse Grandstand, through Stadium Finance Prison Bend, and it's still Moore leading the way. But boy, the heat will be certainly felt, because Marker is right on his tail. Kane Jemmett sitting there in 3rd. Matthew Phillips drifted back to 4th, and now Shooter Hawkins, he's got to do his level best to try and get by Matthew Phillips. Kane Jemmett's pinned the ears back now that he's got a little bit of fresh air on Shooter. Shooter will be trying to work out whether he wants to move up a spot or whether he just wants to swap the flies as they attack him. 3 laps to go. We've got a couple together down there. One's Matthew Phillips in the 5. He retires to the infield. The other was the 77 being driven by Aaron Hutton. Hutton continues. Phillips not quite so lucky there. 2 laps to go. Wingless sprint car action here. Racecourse Hotel and Motor Lodge, Ruapuna Speedway, with Simon Moore leading the way. Andrew Marker in 2nd. White flag out, just 1 lap to go. As Marker draws level, the last gasp charge around the outside. Can he make it stick as Moore just runs up the racetrack a little? Marker's decided to have a look down the inside, but the lap car sitting right there, that's the 8 machine of Chris Gray. And he's certainly just timed the run to perfection. The 51 of Andrew Marker taking out the win. Simon Moore 2nd. Kirk Hawkins crossed the line in 3rd, with Kane Jemmett 4th. Andrew Gregg, the big bopper, rounding out the top 5 in that 75 car. It's growing in numbers. So off that front there, Chris Gray in the 8. Mark Morris car 78. Row 2, Jeremy Scarlett, Kirk Hawkins. She's going to be hustle and bustle stuff here. Wingless sprints. Green flag poised to fly. And the second heat race for this class gets underway. And it is Mark Morris in the 78 car. But look at old Shooter Hawkins goes up high, wide and kind of handsome in the 11 car, sitting there in that second spot right now. But Mark Morris, he leads the charge. Hawkins in second. Then we go back to the 37 of Jeremy Scarlett, sitting there with the 75 of Andrew Gregg. Gregg saw the gap and he took it. Caused a little bit of a concertina as those two cars got pretty close and uncomfortable with each other, but the gloves are off at the front of the field with two of the old dogs of speedway racing. Mark Morris leading the way with Shooter Hawkins hard on his back bumper as the 71 of Kane Jemmett retires to the infield. Round the top side, it's Hawkins trying to build up that momentum. Has he got the legs on Morris? Morris just sitting down on the pole line, driving around there, doing a good job of it. Shooter has hit the target, leads him down the back chute into the Stadium Finance Prison Bend. So it's Kirk Hawkins leading the way. Mark Morris in second. Morris just starting to drift back a little in that Lincoln Mowers car. He will desperately be hanging on to the hope that Hawkins makes some sort of blue. Unlikely to happen. 5 laps to go next time across the line. Half race distance. Kirk Hawkins, Mark Morris, Andrew Gregg. We look further back. Jeremy Scarlett, the 51 of Andrew Marker is in there. Adam Farrer rounds out the top 6. Good old battle going on there between Scarlett, the 51 of Marker, and Farrer. Just sitting there. Farrer has a look at splitting them in the Concut excavation machine. Can't make it work for him. But Hawkins starting to open up a commanding advantage over his opponents. Little bit of contact between Andrew Gregg and Mark Morris. They're teammates. Just 2 to go next time across the line. And Kirk Hawkins could be on his way to another heat race win. Certainly come back from the North Island with some renewed vigour. And he's got that Hayden machine just percolating nicely. Big battle going on there. Scarlett's gone around. Jeremy Scarlett's gone around. 1 lap shootout, will it be?
Well, this plays into the hands of Andrew Marker, who's lapping rather nicely, making his way forwards. He's in 4th place now, but hey, how good's Shooter Hawkins at the moment? All that racing he's been doing in the North Island, and he brings all that experience home, and he's actually streeting them. So let's see how Shooter Hawkins goes in the restart. Of course, it's Mark Morris in the Dolly Rose 78C, Andrew Gregg in the next car, and Andrew Marker in there for 4th. I think it'll be a green-white checker. Is that how it works, AJ?
Yeah, it should. And to be fair, Speedway New Zealand should just throw the green flag. That's my call. Actually, the checkered flag may be about to fly.
There we go, mate.
They've called this one, and Kirk Shooter Hawkins was in an unassailable place. Pretty happy too, you got to say, the old fella.
Yeah, look, he's tapping on 50, so good on you, Hawkins. Well, Shooter, you're taking out a race here at Ruapuna tonight, and that's a good reward for you for driving so well.
Green flag flies, wingless sprint feature. Kirk Hawkins in the Hayden number 11 got the start. But Andrew Marker up to that challenge in the 51 car. So it's Marker leading Hawkins down through the Stadium Finance Prison Bend. Sitting there in 3rd spot. Oh, we got one gone around. Let's hope they can get back on the motor. That's Matthew Phillips. Yep, he manages to keep it going. Mark Morris sitting there in 3rd spot in the 78 machine. But it is all Andrew Marker. And this is a wingless sprint feature race. Kirk Hawkins hanging on to that 2nd spot, waiting for the error. Aaron Hutton in the 77, he's put up a good showing, currently running in 4th position, while Charlene Jemmett, car 57, running in 5th. Good old battle of wits going on at the front. with Andrew Marker. Been in really good form this year. Hawkins in second. 8 laps to go in Wingless sprint car feature. Old Kirk Hawkins. These two have really dominated the proceedings tonight. Hawkins started back in midget cars a number of seasons ago. His father raced here in the 60s in the midgets, and of course Speedway, she's a family game, and Kirk following in his father's tyres. It looks like no one is going to hold a match to Andrew Marker in the Jemmetts Powertools number 51. Hawkins still hanging on to second. Mark Morris got to look a wee way back for him. He's conceding the length of the straight to our race leader, Andrew Marker. Hawkins still in that second position. Unlikely to change. 3 laps to go next time past the Mag & Turbo pit gates and the NPD 100% fuel start-finish line. But Andrew Marker already posted some really strong performances throughout this season. He's got 1 feature race win to his credit, and you'd have to say he is well and truly on his way to another one. White flag, just the 1 lap to go. Kirk Hawkins, another second placing for Shooter. Checkered flag flies. Marker takes the win. Hawkins in second, and Mark Morris. Boy, this is going to be a confidence booster for Marker. Driving Dolly Rose crosses the line in 3rd spot.
Well, just a wee tangle up there in turns 3 and 4. Looks like Andrew Gregg, and not quite sure that other runner might be Charlene Jemmett. But Andrew Marker takes out another feature